It's Josh Sebo, the COO of OfferVault.com, the world's largest affiliate offer search engine. Subscribe to our channel for more great interviews, the latest affiliate news, and free training. Today, we have another very special guest of mine and a dear friend. He's a sales director at Ringba, the industry's best pay-per-call tracking technology. And not to mention, he recently just got engaged. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for the new husband-to-be, Sean Hitchcock. What's up, Sean?
What's up, Josh? How you doing, man?
How'd I do on that intro? I kind of nailed it, right?
Yeah, you crushed it.
Yeah. Congrats on the engagement, man. How'd that go?
The engagement was awesome. You know, I've been taking my time with that, so it was a long time coming, and I know she was
she surprised?
Very surprised and more than ready. So I kind of felt bad, but you know, I'm glad. A little pressure too. You know, you kind of like.
Oh my god, dude! I did that a little bit ago, and I was way more nervous than I expected. And I think she kind of knew it was coming, so that's good that she didn't know.
Nah, we had all our friends and family there.
Oh, nice.
And it was a good moment. So
awesome. So where are you talking to us from today? Where are you based out of?
I'm in Tampa, Florida. So you can kind of see in my background there, we got a Rays blanket who just won the AL East. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Nice.
And I got my Bolts in the Stanley Cup final. So yeah, Tampa, born and raised in Tampa. I was in Atlanta for a little bit, but we recently moved back about 4 or 5 months ago.
Well, that's cool. So I'd love to just jump right in and talk a little bit about you, what you were doing before Ringba, and then obviously we'll talk a little bit about Ringba. So tell us a little bit about what you were doing before this pay-per-call tracking stuff, before the affiliate industry. What kind of jobs were you working?
Yeah, man. So, you know, I come from having to hustle my way through life. So, you know, I've started working at a young age 16, worked full-time throughout high school and through college. So CVS I worked at for like 8 years, which is like a weird thing to say.
CVS or CB?
CVS Pharmacy.
CVS Pharmacy.
From the age of 16 all the way through college, I was like a cashier to like a assistant store manager, which I quickly realized after becoming salaried that was not for me. So as soon as I graduated, stopped doing that. I sold auto insurance over the phone for Esurance, and I quickly also learned that was not for me. While I was good at it, I liked sales. I didn't like that repetition of doing the same thing over and over. Was in my wheelhouse. So between that and affiliate, I kind of bounced around, was trying new stuff. Always kind of stayed in sales, and you know, just on a whim, I remember a buddy that I went to college with, you know, said, "Hey, we're hiring." And I just texted him one day. I was pretty sure I was selling alarms. I texted him one day and I was like, "Hey man, you know, are you guys still hiring for that role?" Came back to Florida, and it just happened to work out. It was actually a network here in the Tampa Bay area. They're still in the Tampa Bay area. It was a great start. Was there for a few years, and you know, was doing pretty good, doing pretty well. I liked it. I liked the industry for sure. You know, being able to go trade shows and events, and it's more laid back than like a corporate environment. So it really kind of took hold, and you know, it was all, no looking back from there. So
let's take it right from there. How did you make your way from those jobs with Esurance and CVS Pharmacy to this affiliate marketing industry, the pay-per-call world? What was that transition like for you?
Well, again, yeah. So I was at the network that in the Tampa Bay area here. I was a business development manager, so I worked with like advertiser clients. And, you know, while I liked it and I liked, you know, the change of pace, you know, I was making pretty decent money. I found over the years there wasn't a lot of leadership, and it's not really a knock on them. You know, they're a great company, but not a lot of leadership, and there wasn't a ton of room for growth. So one day, you know, not one day, I had been actively looking for other roles in the industry, and some of the guys at Ringba had posted that they were looking for a sales guy. And that's how, you know, I was like, you know, I interviewed and, you know, met those guys, and I felt really comfortable right away. They're very passionate and driven. So that's kind of how it ended up with, you know, Ringba and what I'm doing now.
So let's pretend I know nothing about Ringba. Tell me a little bit about what you guys specialize in, because I about you guys, and it seems like you're really dominating this space that you guys specialize in. So for our viewers who don't know about Ringba, what would you tell them?
Sure. So I wouldn't say we're dominating. We're doing really well. We've come a long way. from where I just kind of spoke to, where, I started with Ringba, to almost 5 years now, I think we're going on. We've had exponential growth, and it's because of the way that we do things. But ultimately, at a high level, we're a SaaS platform for marketers, businesses, advertisers, big clients, anyone who wants more visibility into their phone calls. So, if you're generating calls or buying and selling phone calls, which is a huge industry, most people don't realize in affiliate marketing, they hear pay-per-call, and some of them are almost turned off to it because they don't fully understand. But anyone who is working with phone calls and wants that granular visibility they're used to with like a click tracker, you can get that with Ringbas. So there's a lot more that goes into it, but, just talking to someone who maybe doesn't understand what call tracking is, at a high level, that's what we do.
Cool. So when people hear the name Ringba, what do you want them to associate that with?
That's a good question. I would say, passion. Passion is probably the first thing, and I think that people that know us and maybe don't know us that well at first glance, they're like, well, those guys are loud, or, they see us everywhere. We sponsor, every trade show. We're always making noise on the internet, but it's because we're passionate. We believe in our vision. We believe in the ultimate goal of providing a really good product and providing a really good relationship-based support, to our customers and clients. Most of those clients, hundreds and hundreds of them, will actually vouch on that fact that we do provide, that relationship-based software, which is a weird thing to say because, at the end of the day, it's software. How is it a relationship? But that's the most important thing. So I think the relationship and the passion that we bring to what we're doing, we're always kind of moving that ball forward.
So we're both working from our home office. I mean, I've been doing this for a while. I don't know about you, but this is pretty much just my office. But to segue into this next question, these are very different times for everyone, let alone the pay-per-call world, the affiliate world. So I'm just curious, in your opinion, where do you see this industry heading over the next couple of years, and what kind of things should people be focusing on to really stay ahead of that curve?
Yeah. Well, I would think that the work from home is pretty normal for a lot of people in the space. Not all, but for myself, I was remote before even working at Ringba. So I think that part is probably similar. So that is not really unique to this space. One thing I will say, just being performance or whatever your affiliates or whatever you want to call it, is always that idea that we're innovating. And I believe that is something that we'll continue to see, in terms of phone calls and Ringba and what we do. Programmatic is going to be the biggest thing. And that's what we believe. And that's what we are seeing. So we're trying to make that come to fruition.
So let's say there's a new company watching this interview right now. They're just getting started in the pay-per-call space, and they don't yet have tracking set up for these calls. What would be your biggest advice to them in terms of getting started in this industry, and why, for instance, they should go with Ringba to track their calls? Why is it so important that they do that?
Well, are they just getting started brand new to affiliate, or are they just getting started with calls? Because those are two different beasts.
Let's say calls for the sake of Ringba in this interview.
Well, if they're, they have kind of a niche or something that they've done in the past, I would say stick with what you know. Let's say hypothetically you're doing, credit repair or auto insurance. That's very similar to, from a leads perspective, branching into phone calls. I'd say stick with that, build off of that success, assuming that you've had success, and expand, learn, because there are some caveats that are a little bit different when it comes to phone calls versus leads. So stick to a vertical, dive in, learn as much as you can. And I think, you should come out on the other side being really successful.
So you mentioned auto, you mentioned insurance. What are some of like the top verticals in the pay-per-call world that you really see kind of blowing up right now, people are doing really well with, if you do have any insight on that being, the platform that does the tracking for that?
Sure. I mean, what I would say kind of, just going along with my previous comment is it's very similar to the lead space where, leads, don't have the margins really built in that a live phone call would. they do transfer well to a phone call. Like, you can take auto insurance and plug a phone number on a web page, and the call to action is a little different, but it translates very well. So anything that you see in the lead space, insurance, medical, Medicare, Medicaid, MedSup, any of the financial verticals, solar, there's like psychic, I mean, you name it. Anything that you can generate interest from an inbound phone call, people will have success, generating, inbound phone calls with.
Speaking of success, how does Sean Hitchcock define the concept of success? What does success actually mean to you? And this is more of a personal question. It doesn't have to be through the eyes of Ringba. I'm curious, how do you define success?
Sure. I think, ultimately success for me is defined as being first and foremost happy. Am I happy in my job, my personal life, which, I can easily say that I am. Because that's important, right? If all you do is work and all you do is, play, and there's no balance, then, you're probably not going to be too happy. But I think that's the most important thing. And then having, passion, continue to, let's say, I made 50 grand last year, next year I'm going to make 100 and then 150, just continuously, becoming better, improving day in, day out, because if you become complacent, I think life gets kind of boring. So I don't really have like a finish line or a destination when it becomes, when it comes to success. But those two things, happiness, and then, having that drive to always be better.
Mm-hmm. Has there been a specific time in your life, maybe that you look back, or maybe that while you were there in the moment, you were like, oh, what a failure. This is, this is terrible. But now you look back on it and you're like, I'm so glad I went through that hardship, because it really taught me so much about, life and work ethic, and it really helped me get to where I am today. Was there any specific moment that you can recall in your past that kind of you look back on now and you're really appreciative that you went through it?
For sure. I would say, my 16 to 23 in that range, because, the
prime partying years.
Well, not for me, not for me. My parents, my mom was kind of strict, and I didn't really get to indulge too much on that. But, it wasn't really until college, but, I always had to work, from 16, everything I had, I paid for, whether it was a car or clothes or, whatever. So at the time, while it seemed tough and, you kind of like hate that uncomfortableness, and even through college, working, full time and going to school and partying that part was there too. Looking back, I'm like, man, I can do anything, let's say I fall flat on my face today. I have no doubt that if I put the work in, I'm going to be successful. So, while that's a wide range of years, I think all of that kind of coming together definitely helped me become who I am.
What's one of the best investments you've ever made? It could be a physical product. It could be a change in the way you think or how you approach your workday, but something that our viewers watching this right now may be able to take away and apply to their own life.
Well, I had a 02 Ford Ranger that was that was $4,000 that squeaked. Actually, my friends used to call it squeaky, and they would all throw their trash in my truck bed. So every time I drive to work, stuff would be flying out the back. So that thing really got me. While it was only $4,000, it got me, throughout the years. So that was a pretty good investment from like a tangible piece. Mm-hmm. But I think the biggest investment from like an attitude perspective was number one, positivity. Like, and not like in an unrealistic manner, but like looking at the bright side of any situation and just being grateful. If something, maybe you wake up and you spill a cup of coffee on yourself, like whatever, like won't do that again, or, just looking at life in a positive manner. I think it's probably the best investment I could have ever made, and I have made. Have
you read or watched The Secret?
I have not. I don't know. What that is.
I'm pretty sure it ties into like just positive energy and finding the positive in everything that happens. So when you're not working, or just being super positive like you are. What do you like to do with your free time? I know you're a big sports guy, obviously, as you previously mentioned, and so am I. And, you know, we've discussed and related on that, but outside of sports, what do you like to do when you're not crushing it at Ringba?
Yeah. So, I mean, throughout the work week, I'm kind of a homebody. I like to kind of stay in that routine. I go to the gym. I work. Maybe sometimes I'll play some Call of Duty, nothing crazy. And then, you know, on the weekends, I like to get out and enjoy myself. Recently, my fiance and I bought a flats boat. So I like to go out on the water, go fishing, and, you know, just kind of enjoy myself. Nice.
So you're a big Call of Duty guy?
I mean, I try to be. I'm pretty bad. When it comes, you know, I can't beat the 15-year-olds or whatever that are playing the game.
Right, exactly. So speaking of 15-year-olds, actually, we'll fast forward a few years from that chapter of someone's life. But what advice would you give to a smart, driven college student who's just getting ready to graduate, come into the real world? Some things you would tell them that they should really focus on, and, you know, alternatively, maybe some things you should tell them that they don't need to focus on as much from your experience post-college.
Yeah. So if I'm relating it to myself, looking back, I'd say take some risk, because what's the worst that's going to happen? You know, I've had $100 in my bank account. It doesn't really matter. You're going to be okay. So take some risk. I think my mindset coming out of college was like, oh, I'm going to find a corporate job and be secure. And that way, that would be one of the biggest pieces of advice I could give, because you're going to find your way. You know, work hard and take some risk, and you're going to find success. And on that same note, you know, don't be so uptight. You know, have some fun with your career and your life, and good things will definitely come of it.
So when you're feeling overwhelmed during your workday, maybe you lose focus. What are some things that you do to really get back in the zone and kind of regain that focus?
The first thing is take a deep breath. You know, just like take a step back, take a deep breath. And I think my immediate reaction is to think of like the success that, you know, we've had as a company, and then personally, because, you know, the success, and be grateful, to say like, hey, you know, I think like, hey, you wouldn't have this without putting in the work and doing what you're doing. So it's not that bad, or whatever, you know, whatever those feelings or emotions are, try to be grateful. But, you know, from like a day in, day out, since I think the gym helps with that a lot, you know, getting exercise, because if you're overwhelmed or stressed out, you know, go blow off steam.
So not including your recent engagement, because that would be too much of an easy answer. What's one of your favorite achievements so far that you've accomplished in your life that you're super proud of?
Truthfully, just becoming, you know, my own man, you know what I mean? Not having to rely on anyone, having success, being able to provide for, you know, my future family. You know, I think probably that, which is a pretty boring answer, but, you know.
No, I like it.
Also in 8th grade, I was the academic athlete of the year, which I'm pretty sure they gave to me out of sympathy. Because, you know, while I played every sport, I was pretty terrible. At the time. I did get better at sports, you know, growing up. But in 8th grade,
you were more of a quantity guy, not so much a quality guy.
Yeah, like I ran track, and I'm pretty sure I came like second to last in every single 800 that I ran. Somehow got that, but that's second on the list.
Sean, you've been a great guest. Before I let you go, we're going to play a little game I like to call the OfferVault Hot Seat. It's pretty simple. Here's how it works. I'm going to ask you 5 would you rather questions, not related to Ringba, not related to paypercall, just related to you and me as friends having a little chit chat. Any questions before we get started?
Yeah, normally I play something like this. I have a drink in my hand, but it's
right.
It's only Thursday, so
it's only Thursday. It's only one.
Just let it rip. Exactly.
All right, cool. So question 1, would you rather have no arms or no legs?
I think no legs.
And why is that?
I could still wheel around. If I had no arms, like
can't type.
Yeah, I would have to. Yeah, I really can't do anything. If I had no legs, I could still, you know, wheel around and like still do arm day. But no legs would be, or no arm. had that mixed up.
Yeah.
No, arms would be pretty tough. I mean, you would literally just,
Yeah. What would you do without Arm Day? Man, what a scary thought.
That was a joke. But yeah, it couldn't work. So that'd be tough.
Yeah. Question 2, would you rather throw up in the middle of the dance floor or in your Uber on the way home?
Dance floor for sure.
100%.
I wouldn't have to pay for the Uber.
You don't have to pay for the Uber, and you just kind of like duck, and then you just bounce, and like you get out of there before anyone even saw that.
Yeah. Hope no one sees, and you're good. Whereas the Uber, believe it or not, went on bachelor party, and I was not the culprit because I'm not a lightweight. But the guy did throw up in the Uber, and it was the worst smelling thing you can imagine.
Bad. So, and then they get pissed. You got to pay for the cleaning. It's not fun. I agree. Dance floor all the way. Question 3: would you rather use eye drops made of habanero pepper oil or toilet paper made of extra rough sandpaper?
Toilet paper for sure.
Cool. This one, I think. Yeah.
They both suck. They both suck.
Yeah, for sure. We'll leave the explanations for that one short and sweet. Question 4: would you rather eat an egg with a half-formed chicken inside, or eat 10 alive grasshoppers?
Pretty alive grasshoppers. 10.
Yeah, 10 grasshoppers that are living, or a egg that has a half-grown chicken.
I mean, I eat chicken. I eat every form of chicken. I don't eat baby chicken, but
right. I eat every form of chicken. I eat half-grown fetus chicken. It's my favorite.
Might as well try that, I guess.
All right, so you're going with the chicken. Love it. Question 5, last question. Would you rather slowly pull all of your fingernails out, or would you rather quickly pull 3 of your teeth out? So it's slowly all 10 fingernails, or quickly just 3 teeth?
That's just a no-win.
Yeah, you're losing no matter what.
I guess I haven't had my molars out, so maybe 3 teeth. Just rip it and grip it.
Yeah, rip it and grip it, baby.
Or grip it or rip it, whatever, however it goes.
Sean, you've been a great guest. Really love having you. Would love to have you back anytime. Before we go, this is your moment to tell our viewers any final thoughts about Ringba. Go for it.
Yeah, so if you're in the pay-per-call space and you haven't tried us, give it a shot. Come learn about our advanced technology, the future of pay-per-call in terms of programmatic. The only company you should trust with, Pinktree or Ringtree, should I say, selling and buying of programmatic calls. Reach out at any time, and you'll find that we offer, the industry-leading support. So.
For Sean Hitchcock from Ringba and myself, Josh from OfferVault, let's make that paper. Let's make that dough. This was the Affiliate Marketing Show. We'll see you next time, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, man.